Hey, what's up? I'm Planarwalk and welcome back to recreating Agar in Game Maker. Now this one is going to be shooting mass out. Should be fun. Should be simple as well. So we're going to have to create a new object, fun, and we're going to call this object blob. Okay, so these objects are going to be a little bit similar to the player, but they're not going to do everything that the player will do. They're not going to move around. So let me bring up the player here. Okay, so we are going to use this existing code here to create the new object, our new blob object. Okay, so how we're going to do that is we're going to go if keyboard check pressed, forward, put that in brackets, and we go W. If you're using programming languages like C, you'll want to have that in single quotes like that, and something like C# it will expect you to do stuff like that because it's characters. So yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go instance create, and we're going to go blob like that. So that would work. It created a blob. But there's a few things wrong with this blob. It's just creating it and leaving it there. Not what we want. So I'm going to go get our draw code for calculating pi stuff. We're going to put it in here as a comment. And we will work out a way to convert these x and y's to be the edges. We're going to convert next x to a number between 0 and 1. Or we can take this code here and just, yeah, let's do this. X plus that, y plus, goddamn, y plus that. There we go. It still doesn't fix our problem. We've got to do a few more modifications. So this is where this comes in. We're going to times this by that. So to do that, we just simply go times that times that. Should be simple. That should be simple. It's not quite done. Because the users like seeing things. Seeing evidence that you've actually done things. I learned that the hard way actually. The users like evidence of seeing that they've leveled up or something like that. Because I've made a game which had a hidden leveling system. The users couldn't see that at all. So we are going to take this and put it into here as a draw event. Because why create extra code when you don't need extra code? So the mass of, I'm going to add an event. I'm going to make mass will be 10. Okay, I probably should have mentioned to get rid of the get rid of this, because that's not needed. That's the problem when you copy and paste things. Probably shouldn't get into the habit of copying and pasting things from pre-existing stuff. Okay, W. 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 Okay, it's working. Painting a whole lot of W's around, which is going to lag out the game if I keep on creating them. That needs to be fixed. We have to go into Steph event. So what we need to do here is we need to make sure that the mass is above something. So if the mass is larger than 40, then they can shoot out mass. Pretty simple. We also have to go mass minus mass becomes lesser by 10, because the blob has a mass of 10, so our mass will lose 10 mass every time. And there's also something else that oh yes, this is a crucial thing. So we have to give this mass a speed. We could actually, let's do next x and next y. So what I generally use is, because GameMaker is horrible with this, they need to make it so that you can pass things through to objects upon their creation. I usually go for a global variable. I usually go for global dots x. Okay, global dot x velocity, x vel, global dot y vel. These are both going to equal something like next x plus 20, next y plus 20. Now that should work, I think. Actually, it won't work because of this. We need to add an event that will be a move event. Forgot one thing. We need to go to the create event first and say xvel becomes global dot xvel. Don't worry about naming things differently here. The global variable is not that variable. It's a completely different thing. So don't worry too much about things like that. You can name things like this the same. It's just when you name your objects and your global variables and your local variables the same, then things get very hectic and not working. Forgive me, yvel. We also need to make it so that it moves by that. So we're going to go x plus equals x vel y vel. Okay. That will work, but we're just going to have it forever shooting off. That's why we go something like y vel minus equals 1. But that will actually, that won't work, because we need to check to see which direction it's going in, obviously. And we should probably check for it to be 1. If it's larger or equal to 1, because okay, so now whatever way it's going in, every step it will slow down by 1. We're going to go else. Wait, this will work like that. Else y_val equals 0, and we'll just do the same for x. That becomes 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 x. And should work. Hopefully. Here's hoping. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Question is, where are they going? That's a very interesting question. Where are these blobs going? Okay, so our blobs were randomly just disappearing like that. Question is, where to? Got it. I know where they're disappearing off to. They're disappearing far, far away. Never to return. Because I forgot how I made this, and forgot that I'd need an x and a y. Also, I just realized something. We want to get rid of that 20 as well. And we want to check if they need 20. Which we could actually do over in the blob object. So, if val is larger, so if xval is larger than 0, xval gets 20. Otherwise, we'll lose 20. And just repeat for y. Okay, that should work better. Okay. Now that's not what we want. It's kind of what we want, but not quite. Okay, so I had a bit of testing around and realized what I did wrong. And instead of doing next y, I should have done this. Because I already moved to next y. There we go. That should work. Hopefully. I'm very disappointed that my other one didn't work. Okay, here we go. It is working by the looks of it. Except they do start floating in a most peculiar way. I see why. We didn't say -1. We specified... Yep. There we go. Should work now. But it's not quite complete. We need to make it so that it can rebound. So we're going to take that next x statement and make it a rebounding thing. So if it hits one of the boundaries that we've got, it'll just rebound. Next, x becomes x plus xval. next y becomes y plus x val, and we are going to check to see if that intersects with the boundaries, or if it's going over a boundary. So yeah, if next x is smaller than 1,000, x times equals -1. So that's switching it to the opposite. We're going to do that for y as well. So if we shoot mass and it would go over the boundary, it just rebounds. Now we're going to get to the fun part, eating up our blobs. Because that's the only reason that they put blobs in Agar, to eat them. Okay, so we're going to add an event into blob. We're just going to go here and take the consumed mass, and we need to add it into here so that this runs like it should do. I knew there was something I was forgetting, because otherwise we'd have far too much mass in the game. Got to keep it there at a good rate. Okay. Alright, so we've got our blob, and the blob is pretty much complete, I think. Okay, let's take this and put it here. Okay, we are not going to do this exact same thing. We are going to take blob. We are going to test how close we are. Okay, I got something. Minus. Times 20. Okay, W. Okay, we've got more than one problem by the looks of it. Okay, we're gonna do something. We're gonna say, we're gonna make global.iter for this, because I'm gonna set it to ID. This is another thing I do. There are other ways to do this, but this is the way that I do it. So global.iter.id, ID, we're just going to go mass global.iter.mass will become 10. That's just for future things. But I still don't know why it's not eating them. I think I've worked out the problem. I'd forgotten to add a sprite. God damn. The comment section's just going to be raging with, oh, it was so obvious. I worked it out in 10 seconds. It's probably going to be more so since I said that, but, you know, comments. Okay, we are big enough to start shooting out our mass. There we go. It's not the best thing, but hey, it works. We haven't tested to see if it works on that, so let's see how well it works. Okay, that's strange. Okay, so we need to add a few improvements on. First off, we're going to put this times, it'll be times equals instead. I don't know what that's going to do. There's probably much better ways I can do it, but for now, because I'm trying to work this out. Okay. We also forgot to add this. If next y is larger than, I think it's 5,000. No, it's room width minus 1,000. Room height minus 1,000. Okay. Now, I don't know why it's doing the flashing thing. I don't know why it's flashing. I worked out why. It was because we had applied it to the x variables instead of the x velocity variables. I think that's what happens when you do this. So we're just going to change this. Instead of, we are going to give it a, we are going to make new variables. Xv will become xvel made into a positive square root of xvel squared. So xvel times xvel okay, and xv, oh, yv will become the square root of xvel times xvel. No, yvel. Yvel times yvel. Okay. So now that we've got xv and yv, we are going to make proportionate prop will become xv divided by xv plus yv. Prop x will become that. Prop y will become the y version. Let me just add in here. Okay. Now that will, and we're just going to times that by 20. There we go. Should be good. Now let's see if this works. I did not expect this to be as hard as it did. It's taken me over an hour. Okay. Now we are faced with the problem that I saw earlier. As soon as we generate the mass, or the blob, we eat it. So to do this, we add a delay on to it. And I'm just going to put delay at 10. And every step if delay is greater than 0, delay will decrease by 1. Right, and so here you go. If delay is larger than delay is equal to 0, then do that. Okay, so we've got an infinite loop. Now this is where things get a little bit finicky, because as long as it exists, it will. So here is a solution. So I'm going to take this. We're going to go to blob. We're going to go to create a new thing. We're going to handle all this in the blob instead. Okay, so instead of doing it in the player, we're going to do this all in the blob. So we are going to check if delay is equal to 0, meaning we don't need it in here. And we don't need to do it with that. Alright, so we're gonna go with so we're gonna make a new variable, and it's gonna be called global.bid. And we're gonna go with player. So this is going to start to get a bit complex. And in the player, we are going to check the distance to. First, I'm going to set that to ID. Okay. And we're going to check the distance. Smaller than, and we're going to go Okay, we're going to paste this over. We're going to go minus square root of mass. There we go. Okay. If that's true, then we are going to do the thing with the original object. So this is a withception thing. That's what you want to call it. We're just going to take this here and put it we're going to just set the x to negative 1,000. Or actually we'll just break out of all of it. Is that how it works? Because we don't want to be eaten by... Okay, so we're just going to go exit. Because we don't want any more player objects doing this. That's where you got to do... Okay, so we're just going to copy that into here. And that should be good. God damn. There we go. Should be good. Hopefully. God damn. God damn. And it also went the wrong way. So we're going to have to figure this out. See what's wrong with it. Went the completely opposite way in which we were heading. Okay. So we've got things sort of working, except that the blob does go in the wrong way. Okay. So to get around that little thing, there is an easy way to do that. And that is simply to just switch these around. And also it's kind of slow, so let's change these to 30 to make it a bit faster. Now hopefully this will work. Now it's not doing anything. Okay, this is the annoying thing about programming. You solve one problem and you create another. God, that's annoying. Okay, I've worked it out. That's what was wrong. Change this in here so that it's still the right one. So that it makes it back to the right one, because I forgot to change that. Now hopefully things will be sunshine and rainbows. I'd like them to be anyway. Okay. There we go. Now there is a bit of a curve on them, and that's because we're minus by 1. So that's why there's a bit of a curve. So the easy way to stop that is just, instead of if spell so if this is not between, we're going to, if it's not larger than 1, And so if xvel is larger than 1, smaller, or and we've got to set that to yvel. Yvel becomes, well, divide it by 2 and copy this code to x. Could also change it. Actually, yeah, let's change it. We're going to make it 1.4. No, 1.2. And we're going to change that to x. Okay. One thing you will have to change though is the speed at which it shoots out. Because it shoots out at such a horrendously slow speed. This is going straight down. So let me just change the speed here to 50.
Firefly said dark is not wrong.
And that is that video. It took quite a while to work that one out. A lot longer than I expected, actually. So, leave a like and subscribe if you like this video. Leave a comment of anything you think I can improve on.
So it begins.
And between you and me, thank you for watching.